Hey everyone, it is Velvet. Welcome back to more Persona 3 FES. And the last one, we made our choice to fight Nyx. And in this one, we are going to go up Tartarus and try and reach as close as to the top as we can. And here we are. I'm going to try defeating the Reaper without Spellmaster. We're gonna want physical attackers for this, mainly, I think. So, Junpei, I guess, and Akihiko. And of course, I am going to save first, just in case I get wiped. But we'll see. So in order to call for the Reaper, we just need to enter Tartarus and wait. That's really just it. We just want to wait here until Fuka alerts us that he has arrived.
I have a feeling that death is near.
He approaches! Now the moment of truth. Am I just gonna get obliterated frame 1, or am I gonna actually be able to do what I want to? I might get obliterated frame 1, in which case we'll come back to this, but I have to try, you know? Come on, Reaper. Spawn in. You know you would like to.
I have a feeling that death is near.
Where is he coming from?
Be careful. I sense death.
Tee hee. Where are you? There he is. What is our turn order?
You can't defeat it.
Bad.
Run!
We need a better turn order than that. We need at least one person attacking after us, but ideally the whole squad goes between us and the Reaper. If anyone's to go second, if I only get one person to go second, I don't want it to be Akihiko. Because in that case, I would be fine with him just doing, like, debuffs. So I would prefer Junpei.
That shadow is dangerous.
Oh, that'll do. So, and now for this, we just set everyone to knock down. And then we, oh, we have plenty of SP. This should go fine. We hit the Reaper with a Thunder Rain. And this will shock him, right? So we can knock him down with one attack.
While the iron's hot.
And because we have a free move in between us and Akihiko, we can do one all-out attack. And now Akihiko will knock him down. And we say no to this so that he does not get an attack. Right? Because he'll get up, he'll cure himself of shock, but because he spent his turn getting up, he should not attack us, right? And now Junpei's here and misses. The problem with that is... actually, yeah, Junpei, you just do whatever. The problem with that is we are not doing a lot of damage. So if we do it this way... it'll take a while. which is the only problem, right?
This is a sign of my determination.
And his health seems to be outpacing my Thunder Rain, or my SP. So I feel as if we are currently not strong enough for this. Yeah.
Enemies return to normal.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait until we have a couple more levels under our belt.
Only one.
Just to make this process a little less painless. But okay, now I know. But yeah, the Reaper sucks. He's level 99, he has 5,000 HP. He resists basically everything. At least takes less damage from everything. And yeah, I would like an escape route, Fuka. And he has the highest like damaging skill of like every element. And he can use elemental break. So if you block an element, too bad. He can target it if he wants. It kind of sucks. It's rough. Okay, so anyway, if that's not gonna work, then instead, let's just advance. Let us go up to the next floor. Whew. We have one block left. Let me check my quests real quick, just to see what enemy I'm looking for. Glorious Hands, rare monsters on the 6th block. Okay. Noted. Also, I'm pretty sure we do not... Hey guys. I'm pretty sure there aren't a lot of floors between now and the very next Guardian, which is very funny. But regardless, the path to the next floor is blocked and it's becoming unobstructed. But regardless, welcome. Welcome to the 6th and final-ish block. Hold on, I'll scan the upcoming floors. There's a powerful enemy on the 220th floor. Yeah, it's like very close. Oh, wait. It seems there aren't that many of them left. Only around 5 more. We're almost to the top. We can do this together. A mysterious voice rings in your head. Thou art I am thou. Thou shalt have our blessing when thou choosest to create a persona of the Judgment Arcana. The Nyx Annihilation Team Social Link has reached level 2. So yeah, we have about 5 floors to climb, but as I was saying, welcome to the crystalline looking block. The final one for story progress. Astute viewers may realize I'm being coy about that. We'll get to that. But, Adamah. And of course, I still have some things to talk about. Probably Aegis's persona, but depending on how much time it has, we'll see what I'm talking about. Either way, let us advance. Future me, take the reins. So, Aegis's personas, Palladian and Athena, are actually very closely linked. So, a Palladian or more commonly Palladium, is generally speaking a sort of idol, a statue, usually of like a deity or mythical figure in a pantheon that is believed to provide protection to civilization. Which should already make it obvious how this relates to Aegis. Isis is a man-made reflection of humanity, just like Palladiums reflect deities. Her initial purpose is to serve as a direct protector towards mankind. So Palladiums are used in many cultures around the world, but the most important one to Aegis is the general first one, which is Greek. The Palladium was created by Athena in honor of her dear friend Pallas. See, the two once had a friendly sparring match, but with actual spears, with the victor being the one who would disarm the other first, with Pallas eventually gaining the advantage. But Zeus, who was in attendance, feared that his daughter Athena would lose, so he used the legendary Aegis, of which Aegis is named after, to distract Pallas, creating an opening for the unaware Athena to deliver a lethal strike. So, in mourning, in order to honor her friend, Athena created the original Palladium in the likeness of her dear friend, and adorned it with the Aegis. From there, the Palladium became a symbol of protection, and Athena then on took the title Pallas Athena. I think this is reflected quite well in Aegis' own persona transformations, as her persona evolves from Palladian into Athena, which reflects Athena carrying Pallas with her. And with Aegis' journey, I think there's an argument to be made that a part of her died on that bridge, and when she came back repaired and Palladian evolved, she was reborn with a new purpose, like how Pallas dies and lives on within Athena. Design-wise, Aegis' persona looks largely the same, with the major differences being Athena attacks directly from a spear instead of from a mechanism inside it, and also bears a shield, in which this case would be the Aegis. In this aspect, I think this symbolizes a part of Aegis' growth, showing that while in the past she was still a protector, she still hadn't fully grown into her own, and couldn't quite make those decisions on her own, and had to be directed. But now she's capable of protecting someone of her own will, and is much more proficient at doing so. Furthermore, Palladian as a persona is really quite mechanical. The helmet and face split apart to reveal a sort of lightning rod, but by comparison, Athena looks much more human, which I believe also reflects Aegis' growth as her own person, and how she no longer is just the machine she was built as, but something a little closer to human. There's also a bit to reflect Aegis' story in the rest of the story of the Palladian, as it was told about in the Trojan War. Specifically, the Palladium was granted to Troy, but was stolen by Odysseus and Diomedes, which I think can be likened to how Aegis herself was forced against you by Yakutski. Athena herself, I think, could use a bit of discussion too. Obviously, as a major god, there is a great deal to her, but I think the story of her birth, which is also one of her most famous stories, is notable here. See, there are two alternative but similar stories as to how Athena was born. Neither of them are a traditional birth. Either Zeus sired her all on his own, or he swallowed his consort at the time, Metis, who was pregnant with her. The name Metis also comes up in the added epilogue The Answer, and the Metis in The Answer is also related to Aegis in that she is another anti-shadow weapon. But either way, from then on, the story goes that down the line after marrying Hera, Zeus came down with an absolutely debilitating headache. So he orders another to split open his head with the axe Labris. Oh, god damn it, they're all named after Athena's story, aren't they? And Athena was then born from his forehead fully grown, becoming the goddess of wisdom, warfare, and handicraft. Athena being born fully grown could also be reflected in Aegis. As a robot, she would also have been born fully grown. One last thing of note that I believe is relevant to Aegis is that Athena is responsible for the creation of Medusa and of the first spider, turning mortals into monsters. And you could argue that Aigis herself is responsible for the reverse in regards to Ryoji. How, due to her actions of sealing him within the protagonist, she facilitated his growth from monster into something a little more human. Also, I just gotta say, after researching this stuff, it's amazing just how fitting these two are as personas for Aigis. Like, at first, I didn't really know what a Palladian was, and, well, I had knowledge of Athena, but I hadn't really thought about it, so my reaction was just sort of, oh, that's neat. And I like it a lot. Also, I think I should talk about the Aegis a little bit, since we're on this topic. The Aegis is some sort of protective device from Greek myth, usually used by Athena or Zeus. It is usually depicted to be a shield, but has also been interpreted as a sort of animal hide used as armor. Either way, it is something that is able to offer a great deal of protection to the wielder, and anyone the wielder themselves decides to protect. If you interpret it as a skin, there is a further belief that it is a skin of a different being named Pallas, who is a giant that Athena slain, which is another possible origin for her name Pallas Athena, as this myth states that she attached her conquest's name to her own. In others, it is believed to be the skin of the Gorgon Medusa, or, in the case of the version of which it is a shield, the Gorgon's head is affixed to the central boss. Whatever you believe it may be, as said, its purpose is protection.
Give me a second. I'll scan the target.
So, next I'll talk about Thanatos due to his relevance to the game's plot, and as one of the first personas that the protagonist summons after awakening to his own personas, where he rips the magician limb from limb, as well as him being Ryoji's true form. Now, we can fuse Thanatos as a persona if we so wish, though I haven't done it myself, and I don't actually think I've ever used him. Heard he's kinda bad. Can't confirm that myself or explain why. I would imagine probably incorrect move pool for his stats. And also, shout out to the Hades game for getting so popular that an image of that game's Thanatos is like the very first result when Googling him. Game deserves it, honestly. It's great. Anyway, but yes, Thanatos is death in Greek mythology. Similar to the Grim Reaper, that'll come up later, his role is simple. When one should die, he shows up to reap their souls and bring them to the afterlife. You'll note that that was kind of a peculiar way for me to phrase that. I'll also get back to that in a sec. He's the son of Nyx, the brother of Hypnos, Moros, Nemesis, and many other personifications of tragedy. He's also, apparently, described as a peaceful death, where Keres is a violent death. But I don't buy that based off of one of the stories he appears in, notably Sisyphus's. Sisyphus is the king who, for his arrogance, was cursed to push a boulder up Tartarus for eternity, only for it to roll back down when he neared the top, representing futility. But notably, he's famous for cheating death. See, when it was his time, he managed to trick and trap Thanatos for a while. But it turns out, while Thanatos was trapped, mortals were simply incapable of dying, even those who should have fallen in combat. And in my eyes, if his domain was peaceful death, then why would people killed in combat not die? It makes more sense to me if he just governs death as a whole, but maybe I'm thinking about it too literal here. Maybe it's how they try to bring you to the underworld. Maybe Thanatos is more gentle, bringing you down peacefully, regardless of your cause of death. Where maybe Keres drags you kicking and screaming, telling you to shut the fuck up on the way down. I don't know. But how that story resolves is that Ares grows tired of his wars just not having a death toll, and rescues Thanatos himself. The other notable time Thanatos could not complete his mission was in the story of Heracles. One, Alcestis decided to sacrifice her life to extend the life of her husband, King Admentos, of whom had shown Heracles much hospitality. So Heracles offered to fight back death on their behalf, and when Thanatos came to claim Alcestis, Heracles then defeated him and caused him to give up on taking her life. So, from one representation of death to the other, the Reaper. Immediately my mind and most others are drawn to the Grim Reaper, a personification of death the world over. Everyone just kind of has their own similar interpretation of this. The Persona Reaper's Japanese name is Karitoru Mono, which means person who reaps, aka the Reaper, which I thought was interesting because to me that makes it seem like they are intentionally evoking the Grim Reaper instead of their own similar concept of Shinigami, because usually that's the case. Most times when you see something from a Japanese work translated as Reaper, they're originally called Shinigami. In, like, Rain Code, more recently, or sometimes in Death Note, or in Soul Eater, for example. Those are all called Shinigami, originally. In Persona Q, the Reaper is described as the servants of Kronos, whose role in that game is sort of to guide souls to the afterlife, just like the actual Grim Reaper. Regardless, that's not what I want to most talk about, though. I want to talk about a theory I've seen floating around that I really like. The theory's been presented by a bunch of people, so I couldn't tell you where it originated from, but there's a character in Persona 2 named Tatsuya Sudo, not to be confused with one of the protagonists of Persona 2, Tatsuya Suo. Anyway, the theory goes that Sudo reincarnated as the Reaper. People tend to point to their similar trench coats, how they are both typically depicted as masked, and how they are both missing their right eyes. People also point out how the Reaper's weapons, the twin guns, are Maya's main weapon in Persona 2, with the suggestion that he held on to his hatred of her and that manifested as his weapon. I think this theory is super neat, and while as far as I know there's no actual evidence in-game to suggest that this is true, I still think it's fun to think about. And I would also like to add on to this theory that if it is true, it wouldn't be the first time a human character became a part of the collective unconscious like this. See, in Persona 1, there's a minor character named Yamaoka. He's the butler of one of your party members, Kei Nanjo. Yamaoka dies very early on. However, if you collect the ultimate personas in that game, Yamaoka revives as Kei's ultimate persona. So there's a precedent for this sort of thing occurring. And because of it, until further notice, if we actually get more of a lore drop for the Reaper, something that like explains its origins a bit more, I personally choose to believe this interpretation. I think it's really cool. Of course, the most likely explanation is just that the Reaper is the manifestation of humanity's fear of death, and he takes the form he does because he's such a ubiquitous concept in all across the world in many different cultures. But in my opinion, I think him being a recurring character makes the fact that he appears in basically every Persona game after Persona 3 much more interesting, because he thematically fits Persona 3, but not so much Persona 4 or 5. So if he's a reoccurring character, Sudo, like, who is like cursed either by himself or Nyarlathotep to forever roam the unconscious, I think that makes a bit more sense than just the Reaper being this manifestation that shows up in dungeons that have nothing to do with death, you know? But either way, from then on, the story that goes down the line after... I hate how I wrote this. There are 3 shadows in the middle. Be careful. I will be, and god damn, all those instant kill moves were, harrowing. Let us go back and save. I'm gonna grab a Take Mikazuchi real quick so I can use Thunder Call instead of Thunder Rain for this fight. You'll see why. Well, I don't need to be coy about why. It's because there are 3 of them, and they are very strong. So I would like to be able to keep them out of combat if I can. You know what I'm saying? And I believe... yeah, Thor has auto skills as well. So we'll just enter the fight with Thor. I would like to finish it with Odin, if possible, so he can get the experience from it. But I think Thor will be much more useful in the actual fight.
It seems you have to defeat this one to move on.
Yep, that is how it worked. Welcome to... what's our turn order? Oh, that sucks. So I'm not going to be able to knock them down at all, am I? Yeah, that sucks. That's rough. In which case, Akiko, heal, support, and the other 2 of you can do what you want, I guess. But these are the Noble Seekers. They are strong against all elemental attacks, though are vulnerable to all physical attacks. They have basically every elemental skill, both single target and multi-target. And they have Vorpal Blade, which is physical attacks to everybody, and Life Drain, so they can sap some of your HP. So this is gonna suck. In which case, I think going for all of them is not the play. I want to focus on one of them, so we can thin them out. So we'll just pick this one arbitrarily and see how much damage we do. Could be doing more. So how this battle goes, then, is going to matter entirely on who they target with what, yeah? It might actually be worth hitting them with a Tarunda as well.
The enemy is still alive.
Thankfully, Aegis's physical attacks, as well as Junpei's, actually, are pretty good, so they'll be able to hopefully deal some decent damage. Let's get a Matarunda in there, so we can hopefully keep our survivability up.
Are you okay?
Yeah, that sucks. 1 HP, huh? Ha! Yeah, that makes sense. Sucks, though. Alright, let's try this again and hope for a better turn order this time. And if we get trashed on this time, I'll see if I can fuse a better persona for this. And if that fails, then I'm not opposed to some good old-fashioned grinding.
Give me a sec. I'll scan the target.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something. Because we can use Aegis's turn for an all-out attack, then use Junpei's for just knocking them down so they won't attack us again. And then Akiko, I guess I can set on heal support so we can do debuffs. So let's set everybody to knockdown except Akiko, so heal support. And let's see what Thundercall does for us here. Because, yeah, that should shock them all. And now, assuming Aegis doesn't miss, this should knock them all down. And, oh yeah, we're doing a lot of damage now. This is not going to be a problem. I just got immensely unlucky last time. And granted, I should have come in... Holy shit. I should have come in prepared enough for the possibility of me just getting unlucky. That was my own fault. And if it were to happen again, it would have been my own fault. Holy shit, that all-out attack did a lot of damage. I'm going to say no. Simply because I want Odin to get the experience, right? I could just switch to Odin and then press rush, I think, and that would be fine.
The enemies return to normal.
That said, it is amazing how different, differently something can go just based off of a flip of a coin, right?
One more to go.
Also, I know the auto Tadakajo is a bit of a help for that, but man, I did 300 damage with a physical, like, attack swing. 15 beads? Holy shit. We did it! Only 4 guardians left. We're one step closer to the promised place. I know we can make it. Keep it up. Thank you, Fuka. A mysterious voice rings in your head. Thou art I, and I am thou. Thou shalt have our blessing when thou choosest to create a persona of the Judgment Arcana. The Nyx Annihilation social link has reached level 3. Your power to create personas of the Judgment Arcana has grown. Well, let's get our treasure chest first. A precious egg. Hell yeah. And let's go back to the base. I can't believe how much damage we did. I'm gonna switch out Junpei for Yukari for the upcoming fight, but everybody else I think will stay. Maybe I could switch out Akihiko. No. I think Ken will be a liability. Mitsuru will be a liability. Koromaru has the same problem that Junpei does, but has a bit more resistances, so maybe. No, I think this is the team. But for now, we'll be ending things off here. So thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, you know how it works. Please subscribe and leave a like and all that. Until next time, have a fantastic day, alright? See you then.